G'day, how you going? Ian Apples here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my studio where I like to teach you what you can paint in acrylic. I want to get the size of my canvas up there and also the colours just going up the screen there like that. Now, I want to give a big thank you for the reference picture in this video today, which is Muminak Gunduz. Thank you very much. Picture I got from Free Pics. I will show you the reference picture I'm using today as well. So let's get you over here so I can show you what we've done. So here's the picture I've chose to use today. I'll zoom back a bit. It's a double toucan, very colourful, rainbowy colours there. Now what I'm going to do, I don't want to do the whole lot. I'm just going to do half. So I'm just going to do this half here, this guy here on the right. So what I'm going to do is pretty much just copy that area of this reference, just to change it up a bit and make it my own. So I've gone and made a traceable. Now I will have this traceable in the traceable links in the description box below. Message me on Facebook if you cannot get the traceable. All the links are in the description below. Now what I've done with the traceable, I do what I normally do. I lay it up against the window of the house and I can see the lines through the other side. And I get my lead pencil and I scratch on around all the lines there. Then when I put it over here and grab a red pen and go over everything, and why I use a red pen, you can see where you've been, because sometimes you think, oh, I've already been there. And once you've done that, it's leaving the image there. Now you saw the colours going up the screen. I'm grabbing what I feel is in there, like the yellows. I might use the magenta to get some of this colour here. I've got dioxazine purple. Just for the main vibrant colours, there's some turquoise there, obviously some white and blacks as well. Now what I've done on the palette down here, everyone is different the way they use brushes and the way they think. So what I'm doing, I'm grabbing the brushes that I feel I'm going to use to map in the colours of the toucans, a couple of flats, a round fill, but I do have a small detail. And also I've gone through looking at the reference pic, finding the appropriate colours that I feel I can make, because I can mix a few out of that and this one here. There's a few we can mix up and from that one as well. I will have the reference picture and my traceable in the link in the description box below. Also, I want to note, I've got some just craft white, soft titanium white there, because you really need to prime in the surface with that white for your reds and the yellows to stand out, because if you put them on without it, they can look a bit see-through-y. Now I've already done his beak, or the top half of his beak, and don't worry if you go out the lines. If you're one of those people who worry that going out the lines, that's okay. Just make sure your paint that you're using, you're putting it on reasonably thin, not too thick. You'll still see your lines through it, okay? So don't use a chalk for this, it won't work. And I'm not worried about coming beyond the line, because once I paint this toucan on there, I'll cut it back with the background, okay? So we're going to simply prime up the whole toucan. Now what you can do, if you really want, I've done it before, is you can draw the outline of your toucan with your traceable. Fold the paper back, leaving it taped to your canvas. And then once you've done the outline, you can map in all the white like I'm doing now, and then dry it, or let it dry, and then you can come back over it with your traceable and then put all your lines over this white paint. Just give it a coat like that. Watch what I do to his feet. Look, I'm not worried about going beyond the lines. There we go. Now what I've done for this filming process, I've gone and laid out my red, yellow, the phthalo blue, the dioxazine purple, the magenta and the turquoise, and I'm going to be keeping them wet throughout the journey of this painting. And let's say the turquoise, I might pull a bit out here and get a value of that mixed up. So as I got the lights and darks of that, I'm looking at the phthalo blue. So that's got a bit of that in the reference pic. It looks like it's got a bit of mixing going on. So I'm going to get some of this vibed up like that as well. Dioxazine purple. We'll pull some of that out down over here and get some of that with the white.
Oh yeah.
We'll get some of this, and you can make a nice colours with this. What do we got? Indian yellow. That's very transparent, like see-through-y. So you need to get some white into that. Look at that. So let's get some of this white into that red. Now you don't have to mix yours up like this either as you go. You just do it in your own speed. I'm doing it like this for the filming purposes. So we've got our reds there as well. I'm going to just look at the reference. And I myself have habits, say like with a picture, if I'm doing a portrait or something, I always work this way because that's the way my hand's laying. I wouldn't work there and try and work over it. I can always come backwards and see what I've done. So I'm going to start with his beak, his head, his chest, his wings and his tail. All right, I'm going to start with me magenta. Now this line here and that one there is indicating the dark. So I'm going to just get this. And this is pretty much going to come to there, to me black. I'm not worried about going past me line. Roughly there, all the way up to there and just fading out to that way. Now this is the pure magenta. I haven't got the white mixed with it yet. And over this part of his beak, where it merges with the black, pretty much there. Now this is the first colour. Once I put the other colours on, they can start to merge around here. Now I'm using the reference as a reference only just to get these values in their areas, and then I'll just paint it on my painting the way I want it to look. Make sure you get the edge nice and sharp. There we go. Now if I did the background first, it'll be hard trying to paint inside the lines. Now I do encourage you beginners to watch this video more than once just to get a vibe of what you've got to do, so you know exactly in your mind what you're going to do and how you're going to approach it, okay? All right, I'm going to grab some of the quinacridone red now. Okay, my camera wasn't up. I've put the red into the magenta, next to the magenta now, okay? Now I'm grabbing the Indian yellow. Should I dry it? I'm going to find out. The very top of his beak's yellow, right along here. Now I'm going to paint it and it's obviously going to rub in there, yeah. So I'm going to have to dry it. So I've given it a dry and I want to get him on. Now I've gone beyond the outlined line just a bit, so when I cut the background back it's going to look great. And there's also a little bit of yellow. See, I could see it there and I'm just going to put it there. And when I cut the outline back, the background back, this is just going to look so fine and detailed. It'll be like, how did you get that like that? And you think, well, because I knew what I was doing, it was quite easy.
It's fantastic when things are easy and you know how to do them, isn't it, Ian?
That's right, little buddy. I've just got pure black now, a flow consistency of black. And I know where my lines are. You might not see them, but I can. And I'm going to cut this back. Now, I might need to dry it where the paint is. That's okay. I don't need this because I still got to do his face, but I'm just getting this beak area done so you guys get a gist of what's going on here. That colour's about there, so all the way up to about there. Now it's kind of a sharp value there. Where's that line finishing? And that line's finishing about here. So I'm going to block all that in. I'll leave that band there for his head. I'm just doing the beak side at the moment. And then this can be faded. Oh, that line's going to continue out there. But this can be scrumbled into that magenta, just like so. I'm hoping the camera's picking that up. Just scrumble it into there. You might have to get some magenta to come backwards and forwards to splice the two together, but when that's a faded of the two colours married together, it's just going to look more awesome. Okay, now I can block the rest of this part of the black beak in. And his middle part here is all black as well. So get this nice even line coming around and down to a point, straight out there. Just grabbing the magenta and scurrying that back into the black, seeing if it needs any more. Don't overdo it. Just do what you're capable of doing. The more you travel in your art journey, you'll realise you'll be able to do more and more and more. Now I've given that a dry and I've picking up some titanium white, quite the thick bodied stuff, the structured stuff, because in the reference there's a nice glare coming across his beak here. So I'm looking at the reference, it's about here, so I don't want to look at the reference no more. I just want to create that glare for myself. So I'm going to start lightly, just getting that there, quite big there, and like a comet going down that way. And we just got our glare there. The beak a bit, that's a bit better. Now in the black in the beak, they got some, just here, you need to copy this bit here just to give it the vibe there. And just underneath the black line, all the way from about here, there's some glare coming all the way. Don't go to the top of that black, leaving the black line there, and then creating the shape of his beak with this glare. Now look how easy I did that. You can do it. There's a nice little bit of glare right here, just there, look at that. Better rub that heaviness away, there we go. And right down here somewhere, just on the yellow. Now that's looking a bit mumble jumble at the moment. I'm going to block this here in black so you can see how it's going to make it pop. Now I can see where my lines are, you might not be able to, but I can. Find the brushes that's going to do all the lines and the curves and the movements you want. See, I'm using this flat brush because I know I can come around here and use the side of it now just to cut in that bit. And that red now is so sharp and fine in there. I would not have been able to block that in if the background was already done. Coming along here. I don't want to go to the body, I'm just going to do around his beak so you'll get a gist. And that little bit of white that I just put on the edge there when I highlighted it, it's cutting that back as well. Get your paint and find the right inconsistency of its inkiness. See, I'm cutting this back. Practice cutting back. Put a colour down here and there on some cardboard or something and put some lines there where you want to cut it back and just practice your cutting in. Because now I'll simply do this. And you can see now how that beak's been cut into the background. Now I'm not sure if you can see the lines or not, but I can now. Pretty much where you got this L shape where the eye area is, all that there, I'm using yellow green. And then it's going to be valued with lighter and darker. So I'm just going to simply block that in like this. It's very pale in the, where's it going to? Yeah, to there. It's very pale in the reference photo. So giving you the reference photo, you'll be able to see where you can add your colours as well. So I'm working to my areas where I'll be cutting in. So I don't care if I go beyond here because I'll be cutting that in with its appropriate colour. Now I'm going to pick up some white just in that yellow green, just so as this area here is very pale and opaque it a bit. Now I want to pretty much get that off my brush, grab some white and just mix that up. Because I'm just looking where his eye is before I do all the dark there. This needs to be a lot lighter. So I just want to get this feathered around. And I might even use my paint pen for that. Now I'm using a Born paint pen, fine tip paint marker. Posca pens are a little bit better because they have a ball point. This has a felt tip. And as you're moving around like that, it can flick and splatter the felt tip. So that's what I found with them. I'm just fading that out like that just to be artistic. And it's a lot brighter down this part of his cheek. So I want to get that in. Now my paint's wet, so I'm going to dry it. So I've dried it and I'm looking at my reference now and I want to get this, look, it's going to sit on there now. I want to get this right around there, or highlighted. Beautiful, look at that. Right around there. Get rid of that blob. A little bit around there. That's fine. Now I want a lot more white there, because if I rub it, I'll lose it. There we go, and that's nice and bright there. There's a nice bit of vibrant green there that's coming around, and it's splayed, it's fading into there. I'm just going to use some Viridian green. Hopefully that'll be the vibe that'll work for me, yes. And this is just that little L shape under his eye there. I know where my line is. Coming around. And this is on top of that white. Don't have the white underneath it, so it's on top of it. Just there. Getting this edge nice and tight. I'm just picking up that lighter colour there, and I'm just going to backwards and forwards fade it. Now I've dried it for this pen to work, and what do we got? We've got his pupil. So I'm just going to use this pen because it's a lot easier than getting a little brush in there. And with that pupil, he has a circle, which is this one here. Now this felt tip pen, I've got to try and tilt it in a way so it's not going to flick. And now this one just has another one coming around here, and it's sort of going up. So it's coming from there, and it's coming up from there. I'm not doing it a solid line because it's got a lot of little dingleberries on it, like this. There's a nice dark crest in there somewhere. There we go. Next thing I want to tackle is his breast. He's got yellows and reds and the magenta purpley colour. I'm going to pick up the Indian yellow that had the bit of white tint in it, and I've got these lines from the traceable there. That's where the yellow stops. So this is all going to be just yellow. Where is it? All the way to there. So I can block that into there. It's going to have black dividing that, so that's okay. And where are we? Coming down his breast. Just brush stroked to the area up and down. He's on a sawtooth. Look. Just to that area there. It doesn't have to be exactly painted to the lines. Now, what's the other colour? I'm looking red, the red. So I'm picking up just the red on its own. My magenta red, quinacridone red, and where's that coming to? So these lines here now, there's another line in the traceable which is there, that's the red. So I'm going to push that on there, and it's kind of up and down into the other colours below, so I'll just get it to there, because I want to get this on and then kind of let it fade, dingle dangle into that yellow, looking real artistic and vibrant and clever. Coming up here, I'm using the brush on that motion now just to get that scattered look there, beautiful. And it does have some red just pressing around here. Now that's why I wanted to do this bit first as well, so I can block that and cut this bit into it. But there's just a little bit of red here. I've got so much on my brush, I want to wipe it all off and then just get it like that. And then the same here. That's kind of tracing up. Look, just there, I'm making a feather type of shape, you know, that way, that way, that way. That's just my brush movements, and it'll just give the vibe of that feel to there. And we do have some red just scattering here, scattering there a little bit. I'm looking at the reference. It's so easy to do. You can do this. And we've got a lot of darkness there. I'm picking up some of the magenta on its own because it's nice and dark there. You need the darks tucked in as well. I'm grabbing the yellow with some white. I'm just getting some vibes of highlight that I can sort of sense in the reference there, just like that. Now, like I said, this does look chalky and whatnotty, but once we set it back, it just looks good. That's it. Because there is a spot there, I can put the brightest white later. Now, the next layer I want to do is here, before I come up here. We've got his belly, and I'm going to show you the reference. That's the dioxazine purple. We need that there so these other colours can wrap around it. Just like this here, the dioxazine there, it's going to have some other highlights within it, and then we can push these on there like so, and then it'll be ready for that to wrap around. And then I want to do the head. So I'll just grab the dioxazine on its own first. So that's my edge line there, there, here, and let's say to that half there, because that's going to be a lot brighter. Now we want to get this. I'm going to go like in this motion. Now where are we? Yeah, that one there I'm going to leave out, and that one there I'm going to leave out, just so I can push in some highlights over that and they'll stand out on their own. Just go to his feet because I want us to be able to see what his feet look like when I come to paint them in. Now your feather layout does not have to be the same as the reference, okay? Please don't try and get crazy and get your feather layout the same. Just do it as a reference for what you can do on your canvas. I am looking at the tail. All that is dark. It's just got a nice bright red highlight coming over it, so I'll get this all mapped in as well. Bits of this are tracing up there. I'm just looking, trying to get these darker vibes in there while I'm at it. There's just the slightest darkness coming up here. Okay. Grabbing your highlighted version of that purple, coming from here, right against the edge of that feather and the edge of the next one. Don't have it too bright, and I'm just going to go like that. And we've got some very minimal highlights under here. That'll do, that will do. Picking up the magenta with the white, because on here we're coming from about there. I'm going to hit the canvas there. So I'm going to come and just in a straight line, bang, and then grab another one reasonably straight from about here, bang. There's me highlight. And there's some slight vibes of this colour. Just up in here, not too much, just some little slight ones. So I'll do it my own vibe. I'm not worried if it's not exactly. There we go, that'll do. Now just before we do the blue and up there, I've got some more of the magenta with the white in it, just to get these feathers from under here done. So I just want to get them in from there and get some of these in. Just coming across there. Now you might need a couple of coats depending how see-through your paint is. And this one about here, then the rest is all blue. I'm going to get a bit of white onto that, not too much, but just enough to give me a bit of a vibey highlight like that. That'll do. Now I'm working with the top of his head. I'm going to do that black line that I put there on his thing there. We're going to get this. Now mix your brushes up, find the brush that's going to work for you, okay? Some of mine are good and some of them are not. And I want to get this pretty much flicking out into the black. So when I cut the black back, I'll have that kind of mohawk vibe going on his head. And that's just coming down to about here, the mohawk style. There we go. And how far is that coming? And that's stopping about there. There's a slight bit of it down here, so I'm just going to push it there as well. Just looking at the reference where these dark colours are. Slight bit of it there. Picked up the black. I have given it a dry, and this is pretty much cutting back the round saucer shape of his head. So that needs to be tight against his face there, the bottom of my brush. Like so, nice and tight. Coming around. And where we have the magenta up top now, you can just kind of flick and mohawk that back into that colour as well. Take your time, look at that. You can do it. See what I just done there? Cutting it in with my wobbly hand. And down here. Now that feather's there, I'm going to come over, down. I'm making the shapes of my feathers. Now that little bit of magenta I put there, I want to splice this into that as well. There we go. Because this black that I'm putting on now is going to clash with the background. So what I will do to stop that from happening is I'm going to put a highlight, a tinge of highlight with the magenta over it. So I'm going to leave bits there out. And I want to mohawk this back. There we go. See, I didn't do this bit near the beak because I knew I had to do the face section. And you always cut it in with the black at the very end. Bring this up with me paint pen a bit. I'm grabbing some of the magenta with the white in it, just so it's more thicker. Get some of this fixed up. And now this black bit here, I want to just tinge it with this here, just to break up the background. See what I'm doing there? Get a bit more of it. Go beyond your line, don't be frightened. All right, now I'll block the rest of that background in. It is hairy bits there. Trying to keep them in the painting. I might have to come back over it, or I can even grab my paint pen and get in there. And that way it's allowed that black mohawk to sit against the black background because we put that highlight in there. I just want to cut back his chest as well without ruining it with my wobbly hands. Just to about there. Okay, now we've got the wing just to sit that chest back and come over the dioxazine purple. Now, looking at the wing, we've got the phthalo blue. I'm going to do the phthalo blue and start highlighting it, and then I'll highlight it with some of that turquoise in this shoulder area here. I'm picking up the dioxazine purple because I had a good look at the reference. Now, pretty much all the in-betweens of these feathers is dark, so, and it's pretty much the dioxazine vibe. So I'm just going to simply scrumble and scribble some darkness in between the feathers here like that. Nothing too much there because it's going around. So now I'm going to grab the phthalo blue, but I want a bit of white with it just so it's not so see-through, because this one here is a bit transparenty. And coming from good old here, see that dioxazine? Just cut it in. It's going to fade there. I'm going to put all this colour here anyway, and I'll put the appropriate highlights in there. That's a big shadowy bit there, so that's fine. Now it's looking a bit dark at the moment, but when we highlight it,
When all the bullshit will happen, wouldn't it, Ian?
yeah, it'll just bring it to life. There'll be turquoise up there. Okay, I'm going to give that a dry. I'll just grab some of the dioxazine again and pretty much going to go back here. I didn't wash my brush, so there's a little bit of the phthalo into this dioxazine. And I'm just going to use my pride just to get some of those popping canvas teeth white marks out of there and just sharpen up the darkness. Very dark. And now I'm grabbing I've dried that, I'm grabbing the phthalo blue again and then just tracing these back again, like I said, backwards and forwards, fine tuning it. Because it's very see-through here and there, and you just want to look there. It just needs pockets of this, so when I highlight it, it's just going to look the part. Now I'll highlight this before I add the turquoise, and then pick up the blue and the white highlighted colour. So this is where we can start shaping the feathers. Let's see if I need to dry it. Boom, 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 boom. Scalloping them down. See how easy that is? And to me, this looks nothing like the reference, this part here, but just looking at the painting on its own, it's got the vibe of loveliness. And it's always good to get that vibe of loveliness going in your work if you can. There we go, mate. Could be the slightest one going down his tail, maybe, I don't know. I'm grabbing the turquoise on its own, which is pretty much all here, and we're going to sit back that kind of around here, yeah, tucking from there down. Let's dry it and highlight it. Okay, now to highlight that, simply grab some of your white and your phthalo. I mean your turquoise.
Well, it's phthalo turquoise anyway, but yeah.
And we're going to just gingerly highlight that now. Just tapering from the darkness down. So I'll get some of this off the brush. And I just want to get a lot of it off the brush. And just get it from the darkness. I'm just sweeping it down to about there. See, I didn't have much on my brush, as you can see. Okay, now get a real good highlight of that. Where's some more white? And what do we got? We've got beautiful blob right there. What about there? Something about there. Bit heavier underneath. And then just fading. That's it. Nothing really there. I'm getting some burnt sienna and black just to give him his claw feet. And I want to block this in, so I know where we are. So I want to get this up sharp. Where's the other one? Up sharp. Where's this one? Up. And looping around the branch that he's hanging on to. That's going all the way to there. I'm grabbing just the burnt sienna now. And where's some white? Burnt sienna, and just want to mute it with some white a bit. I'm just going to come across left and right like that. So you can see what I've done there. I just put the slightest bit of white on some of there just because I want it to pop against the darkness. I'm going to give him this burnt sienna stick, branch or whatever he's hanging on to. Block it in there. I'm not too fussed about coming over the lines here because it's going to be blacked in as well. Now I want that straight though, so to get that reasonably straight with there, what I'll do is I'll come like that, and I'll use a bit of cheating.
Bit of cheetalisation going on there, eh?
There we go, and get it to the thickness. Down there. I've got some raw sienna, and we'll get the top of this just looking roundish, like a round stick, I suppose. I'm just going to come up here and I want to merge it with that burnt sienna, because I don't know, I like raw sienna, burnt sienna mixed together. They kind of look good. Grab some more of the burnt sienna again, just to blend them together in the middle where they're joining. I'm not worried about the outside edge because I'm going to block it in. And just to get the raw sienna to pop against the background, I want to put a bit of white with it. So I want this just to be highlighted somewhere there, just so it'll pop against the dark background when we map that in. Get it up there a bit. I'm just grabbing the dioxazine purple mixed with a little bit of the phthalo blue there, just to get it dark enough just to paint in his claws. And we'll offset these with highlights just so as they look real.
Because we want it to look real.
And this one's going to come around about there. Picking up your dioxazine highlighted, and you just want to highlight just to there, to there, to there, like that, right where they come from his foot. Grabbing the black, locking that in, I'm going to come down there like so. Around here I want to start creating feathers, just like that. I've lost my actual outside line, but I'm using my artistic license just to put where I feel it may need to go. Up there. I want this to kind of come around that turquoisey one a bit, and there we go. Now I want to get the branch to the thickness and start blocking in his claws. So using a flat brush, getting it right up in there, there we go.
What's that noise? There's a noise out there, Ian. What is it?
I'm not sure, mate. Someone's renovating, so could be them. And block this in. Leaving me highlight there. Getting this staggered shape of the edge of his body there. Just concentrating on the edge. Don't worry about the inside edge, inside there. Then you can concentrate on the inside here and block all this in.
Oh, that wind is so hard. Oh, yeah, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, it's all right, fellas. You'll be all right. See, it stopped. Now, I'm not going to go too crazy with the flowers because I'm not a floralist. I've never painted flowers before. I've done the odd leaf, I think. But what I want to do is get it inky enough just to map it in. And I want to get, like, I'm looking at a yellow, a red, and maybe a turquoisey flowers here and there. I've got me red, and I'm going to make it easy. So what I'll do is I'll come from a point, fat, and I'll stop there like that. Now what I'm going to do is put these on. I'll come from a point, fat. I'll put them on. They're like a leafy thing, I don't know. And point, fat. Let's hope this works. That looks a bit silly Billy. Let's come here, fat. Just bring it into the center there, fat. We'll just come this way now, and fat. So I'm skinny, fat. Now, if you are good at doing florals, just do them your way, because I'm not copying, I'm just copying the colour vibe. I'll just come off the painting here. I'll cheat. And what I will do, I will simply brighten these up, make them a bit more solid. I'm just getting them on there now so you can see how I'm doing it. Right over there, bang. Okay, I'm grabbing the magenta. Now find the middle. I've given that a dry. Find the middle, which is probably about here. Just get it dark and just kind of pull that up to your petals, your leaves, or whatever they might be. I don't know what sort of flower it is, but it's just an Indianapolis flower. Dragging it out, letting it tear into that red. Because what we're going to do...
Are you going to do something real cheeky, you know, you?
I am actually, mate. I'm going to go from the tips of them. Look at that, I pulled a big marker. I'm going to pull some yellow into this just to give it a beautiful, vibrant vibe.
Oh yeah, you're going to love the vibrancy of the vibe, eh?
All right. I'm grabbing some dioxazine purple. I did one there, and just from the guts of it, I'm just kind of tapering out a little bit more darkness, just because it looks too weak. Now I'm grabbing my Indian yellow. You can probably use cadmium yellow medium as well. I want to get from the tips, maybe, is this going to work for a red and a yellow flower? And where that magenta came up the red, just let this stop to that magenta there. And don't worry on the black if you go outside your line, because like I said before, you can cut it in. Now this is going over that way. We've got to work out what's going in front, so this will be... And if you don't like this flower, just simply comment, well, you did try, mate. And then I'll know, you know, we can only try. We want this to go there. This one's going to cut in front of that one there. And hopefully you can see what the guru is trying to achieve here. There. There. From your point and let him fare down into there. Into that darkness. I'm going to grab the phthalo turquoise, This is going to be my green. And I'll simply want to do some gap filler background leaves. And we could probably put one here, let's just say tapering up there. So what I'll do, I'll simply come down. That's my leaf, hopefully. Hopefully I can do this. And I'm going to wiggle it out, getting a bit of a sawtooth edge on the edge of it, just like that. One side, and now the other side. Now I simply want to grab some of the white for that turquoise just to give ourselves some lighter values. Right down the guts of it. And then just pull. Pulling the leaf. Now maybe I should have done this colour first and then the dark later, I'm not sure, but I'm learning as I go. And that can go right out over the black there. These are light coloured leaves anyway. Okay, there we go. We're going to go like this. We're going to scoot it right over that dark. Look at that. Just some artistic leaf.
It's all right in, not too bad.
Yeah, we're saving it. I was a bit worried we could be destroying it. I want to get that side first. There we go. Then I want to come to the other side of the leaf, which is here. Come right in front of that, push him back. Did that work? And I will get a little bit more brighter again, just to give him the slightest highlight. Right over the darkness there. Just giving him a slight highlight. And if you feel I did all right or saved it or whatever, just let me know in the comments below. Yeah, you saved it. Or don't even answer me at all. Some highlights of this coming over the top face of it here. I want to grab some of the Indian yellow. You can see I had a practice run there. Indian yellow and the red, just to get an orangey vibe going. So we have our red, magenta, the quinacridone red and our Indian yellow. Now do whatever colour you feel. I want these to be a bit of a yellowy colour. So I might just put, I don't know, some kind of a petal. Nice round petal. It's cutting in front of that leaf there, which I will block it in off camera, but I'm just giving you the gist of, I want to sit that red one back, hiding any ugly iffity-affity bits. We'll just do a little one here, because that leaf, I like that leaf, he looks good. So anything you like, leave, and anything you hate, hide. And we got a dingleberry coming down like that. Oh, look at that. Here, all the way up there, from behind there. Done this one up here just to show you on this one what I've done. I've dried it all. I put a little bit of white in the colour, and I'm going to put this in front of that branch, I thought, just so I don't have to try and paint behind it. Getting this there. Getting it the right consistency. And trying to replicate another coat over it. Just before I give it a dry, I did one there and looked in my camera, it doesn't look too bad. I just want some mumble jumble detail in the middle here as well. And it's the same vibe as that colour there, so to separate that, I'm going to put a lot more white into that. A lot more white, but it's not white, it's still got the yellow. Just to intensify the middle there with some flourishing bee activity, pollinating. They've been pollinating the guts of that flower there, making it all happen. And let it come down into the middle. That's what I'll do. The top and side of this petal, let it come down in the middle. So we've got some of it breaking away. The yellow, we've left the yellow there on the previous one. There we go. Around there like so. Now I want to grab some more white into that paint. Just a lot more white. Just so as I can highlight them. That'll be alright, I think. Trace the tips of his leaves back into there as well. And then I'll just darken up the guts. I'm just grabbing some black into that. I don't know. Is it going to work or is it not? Just to see. Get a bit of darkness into there, some vibe of darkness. So I could probably do this as well with some of them, is just kind of trace up from the stem into the leaf there, just on one side. Flicking into those leaves, and hopefully that made it look a bit more decent. I just grabbed some of the red and the crimson just to, I don't know, darken up in here, and this one down here. And now I'll simply grab some white into that mix on my brush, just so as I can add some highlights into it as well. Got some white, and I'm probably making a few night stars in the sky. Just to break up that darkness. I want to sign this and then we'll reveal it and whack a frame on it. Now, thank you everybody who supports my channel, Patreons and channel members. The links are in the description below. Also check out all the other links in the description below. There we go, that's not too shabby. Beautiful, colourful toucan in the colourful night jungle. And I know you can do it. Well, very exciting, very colourful, and a lot of fun. You tell your friends if you like what I'm doing, but if you don't like what I'm doing, hey, you tell everybody. And while you're at it, check out this other video of mine. Goodbye, good luck, and good on you.